What's up, everybody? It's Brody from Brody's Garage. Today is March 22, 2026, and this is episode 3, season 2 of Brody's Garage. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I thought I would just take a moment to give you an update. I happen to be over at the shop today doing a little work on my daughter's car, actually, and guess what? Behind me we have, oh, where is it? A 67 Nova. Let's go in for a closer look. Oh, before we get to the Nova, I thought I'd show you my cool LED hex lights that I got from Amazon, $100, and man, what a huge difference. I still have a 4th unit to install, but even the 3 units right now made a world of difference here. Plenty of light in here now, and I couldn't be happier. Well, there it is. There's the car. It's been 4 months since my accident, and I just brought the car over here about a week ago. And I thought, well, what a wonderful opportunity to test out my 2-post lift. I'm happy to say so far so good. It's taken a little bit of adjustment with the cable for the safety release, but I think I've got that worked out now. And I've had the car up in the air. And this is also a wonderful opportunity for me to tell you that I am going to sell the car. I'm going to sell the entire thing the way it is right now. I'm not interested in parting it out. I'm not going to keep anything off it. I'm just going to do a complete clean slate with the new build. I've already got a new body coming. I've already got a new suspension coming from Church Boys Racing. And you know what? It's an opportunity for me to do some things differently with the engine setup. I might even go naturally aspirated or supercharged. I haven't decided yet. I figured rather than try to, take stuff out of this, it's just better for me to sell it off because this is really a killer start for somebody else's project. So I'm going to walk you through the entire build and show you what is included, and then I'm going to open this thing up for best offers, basically. Okay, starting from the rear, we have a Rick's tank, stainless custom fuel tank. It's got the angled corners there in the front for more exhaust clearance. It's got a drain plug. It is baffled. It has the dual Walbro 450 internal fuel pumps, which I'm not sure exactly what they support up to, but it's over 1,000 horsepower, I believe. And it's their stainless tank straps. We have a 3-inch stainless exhaust with pipes, rectangular exhaust tips. You'll see that they are bent right now. They're crooked because of the accident. Everything got a little tweaked and distorted. As a matter of fact, this right there got broken. Obviously, when I rammed the car underneath the trailer, the whole chassis flexed. The rear end of the car probably squatted more than there was available clearance, and it probably hit the axle and cracked that weld right there and bent the pipe. You will also notice that the Fab 9 housing oil filler plug also has been rubbing probably for some time up against the bottom of the sway bar there. I don't think that's a big challenge to fix that, but it is something that needs to be mentioned. I mounted a Davies Craig water pump here for the intercooler. That's a dash 16 line that comes from the custom tank that's inside the trunk, which I'll show you in a bit. And I just made a mounting strap for it there. And let's see what else back here. You've got your battery cables coming down. One is grounded to the frame right there, and the other runs up, I believe, to the front of the car near the starter. This is a Curry Enterprises Fab 9 rear end housing with a 35 spline True Track posi style rear end, billet aluminum pinion support, and I believe a forged yoke of some sort. It's definitely not your stock yoke. It's either a Strange or a Spicer or one of those. We've got Willwood 13-inch rotors back here and 4 piston calipers. There is there is a parking brake assembly in there with cables that go to a e-stop electric parking brake, which was never wired in. I never finished this. And I just noticed that it looks like one of my set screws came out, so that cable needs to be retightened in there. 3-inch stainless exhaust with a balance tube. We have the TCI torque arm rear suspension. There is a QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft, which has aluminum yokes front and rear, and another, I believe it's a Strange yoke. To be honest with you, I talked to QA1 about this. They said it was fine, and so did Jake's transmission, but I wish that there would have been maybe just another 1/4 to 3/8 inch longer drive shaft so that it engaged a little bit further. But believe me when I tell you, there's at least 2 inches of engagement because the yoke is fully splined all the way forward. So everybody has given me the green light that the drive shaft is of no concern. That's just, wish it could have come out a little bit better. It's a 4L80E automatic 4-speed transmission built by Jake's Performance with a 10-inch lockup converter. I believe it's rated at 2,800 RPM flash or stall speed, which is about accurate from my driving experience with the car. These 2 braided hoses are the intercooler send and return lines. We have a Holley 302-3 cast aluminum pan. Those are the returns for the oil drains. And those are the oil pressure lines to the turbos, or oil supply lines, I should say. We've got single adjustable RideTech coilover shocks, front and rear. We've got TCI's Pro Touring front subframe, Willwood 13-inch brakes with 6-piston calipers in the front. Those are new ball joints, upper and lower, on both sides. What else can I say? Let's see. Up here, I mounted a transmission cooler. My plan was to finish this off with a chin spoiler that had some sort of fabricated ducting going through that to direct more airflow through it. I never got finished with that idea. It's a little dirty right now on here, I'm sorry, but rack and pinion steering, of course. You'll see I cut out a little bow tie air hole there for my heat exchanger, which is mounted pretty neatly, I must say, behind the bumper. And that is to further cool down my air-to-water intercooler, which I'll show you in a bit. Hardly any wear on these tires. They are Toyo Proxy Sport on the front, and these are, I believe, a 255 35 ZR18 front, mounted on Weld Racing S77 18x9 front wheels. The rear are Mickey Thompson ET Street SS, and these are 305 35R18 tires, mounted on, I believe, a 10.5-inch Weld Racing rim. The offset on these wheels was not perfect when I did my initial measurements, so I ended up putting, I don't know if it was a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch spacer to move the wheel outward just a bit to get it a little closer to here. I did ultimately have to do a little bit of trimming on the back side of the wheel opening here, and it was just enough to bring it flush with the wheel trim there. You can see a teeny bit of orange paint behind that. I just had to trim like 1/4 inch off to bring it flush with the trim all around, and since then there's no rubbing at all. You can see the tires have no grooves or any wear mark from rubbing. The paint job on this car I did myself. It's House of Color Tangelo Pearl. Not that it matters much now, but just so you can see, you know, the bodywork and paint that went into this car. It was pretty nice. I would call it a, I don't know, 8 out of 10 in the show car world. Definitely not perfect. I never really finished the cut and buff on this car, and there are still some sand scratches left in it and a little bit of orange peel on the bottom here. It's more noticeable with these cool shop lights. You can see things that you really never see out in the daylight or in most situations. But if you get in there really close, you might see there are definitely some sand scratches that could have been buffed out. Again, not that that's going to matter much, because anybody who's going to take on this project is going to have to do some serious metal work and repaint the car. Let's bring the car down and take a look. All right, now for the main event. First of all, walk around to the car. In case you missed it in previous episodes of my YouTube channel series, Brody's Garage, this car was wrecked on November 22 in 2025. So it's been about, 4 months since then. Basically, I was out doing some testing. I had just increased the boost in the Holley Terminator software, and it probably went from 5 pounds to making about 15 pounds. And it was the first time I stepped on the gas, and unfortunately it was in a industrial lot on a slick surface, and I was looking down at the boost gauge for the first second. When I looked up, the car was going at a completely different direction, and I lost control, and it went underneath a semi-trailer, ripping off the roof right there just above my roll cage that I built. And if I hadn't done an oh shit and ducked, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now, because I came very close to killing myself. Luckily, I didn't. And the car and probably the roll cage saved my life. But as you can see, the roof is gone. The windshield is gone. The A-pillars are broke. There's cracks and damage throughout the car. The car is sitting cockeyed. It's not level like it used to be. The door gaps have changed and closed up slightly. Worse on the other side, actually. There's a big crack in the paint there. Obviously, it tore the entire roof off, including the inner structure of the roof, which ripped off the sail panels. It buckled the quarter panels. The trunk doesn't sit as flush as it used to. Get a big, gigantic gouge here and buckle in the quarter panel. It folded it right there. Peeled the door jamb away from the door. Obviously, the door latches don't open and close anymore like they used to. The front fender shifted slightly, and the gap, I think the door mostly moved. It dropped and sags now, and you get a bend here at the A-pillar. Obviously, it ripped all that off. So, I mean, honestly, what's usable about the body? The door could be salvaged, I'm thinking. The front end is, I would say, mostly intact, because the damage happened all up here and back. The hood, the front fenders are all good, all the front trim. The powertrain is fine. It's, perfectly good running chassis, rolling chassis, wheels, brakes, tires, engine, trans. The engine is a twin-turbo LS3. It was all brand new components. It was an aluminum block, Chevrolet Performance aluminum block, with 6-bolt mains. I did an all-forged rotating assembly, eagle crank rods, diamond pistons. They're flat tops. It sits right around 10 to 1 compression. It's a Summit Racing hydraulic, what they call a Stage 3 turbo cam. And I'm sure I can post all of the detailed specs for everything, but I'm giving you just the highlights right now. The turbos are from Precision Turbo. I bought them through Motion Raceworks, actually, but they are Precision Turbo 62/66 mirror image, so they spin the opposite directions. I've got Precision wastegates, which I believe are 46 millimeter wastegates. They are down there, and they come off of the Motion Raceworks wastegate merges. Say that 10 times fast. They're welded onto those stainless elbows down there. All the turbo plumbing was Cerakoted. The turbo manifolds are from stainless headers, which I had to chop off a couple inches off the collector there to get everything to fit. Oh, and I made these custom-made turbo mount brackets that go up to these little, I think they're called Maven. Boy, I can't get a good angle in there, but you just have to take my word for it. They're a mount that goes underneath the turbo, and then the oil drain goes through that. so it gives it some extra support. Everything else was custom made. These cold air tubes, that's a Motion Raceworks billet icon Y merge there, and their icon throttle body. It's a Holley low ram intake with a TIC Performance air-to-water intercooler sandwiched in there. I ground off and polished the Holley logo because I like the smooth look. Had it powder coated black. The inner fenders and front clip are, as I mentioned, from Total Cost Involved. Of course, they've been modified. Made these cutout areas for the turbos and the downpipes over there. And I had those powder coated black. The upper braces were actually from Speedway. It was their G-Comp series fender braces. So that's kind of a hybrid setup between that and the TCI panels. I put my remote power steering reservoir on this side. The front drive accessory is Holley mid-mount for the LS. It's an Entropy radiator with dual HPX fans. And honestly, this car, between the turbo and the exhaust, the fans are the noisiest thing on the car. When this thing pulls into a car show, you hear the fans before you hear the exhaust. It's a Wilwood manual disc brake setup, and the proportioning valve there, which is adjustable. The lower steering column mount, I made that custom. And then it's got a couple of Borgeson joints and a polished stainless shaft, MSD coils, what are they called? Fire core, spark plug wires. We've got Motion Raceworks valve covers. The cylinder heads are from, I'll look up the actual brand, but I know that they were basically a stock replacement LS3 rectangular port cylinder head. So I think we put Manley valves in them. Otherwise, they are as cast stock heads. There are full Texas Speed roller rockers on there, roller fulcrum and tip. Let's see. Single roller timing chain, Melling oil pump. It's got a Motion Raceworks breather there, which is being fed by each of the valve covers. It's Holley Terminator X Max fuel management system. It's got a vintage air system, which has never been charged and hooked up finally, but it's all mounted and installed. I managed to retain the factory hood latch by making a custom support brace for it. You'll notice the turbos poke through the radiator support. That's an aluminum radiator core support that I put the holes in so that we had filters coming up here to catch cold air. Yep, I'm just not one of those guys that runs a turbo engine with no filters on it. I don't get that. Pretty sure those filters are breathing plenty. Certainly the short amount of time that I got to experience this engine under boost, it was insane. So if you think you need more power, knock yourself out. All the trim was reproduction and brand new. Only a handful of things were sourced out from OEM parts. The stainless that goes around the doors, that was all OEM that I had straightened and repolished. Spent quite a bit of money on that. The vent windows are bent, unfortunately, because of this damage here, so I can't tell you that I would trust that they're in good shape or usable. Let's talk about the interior. Oh, and there's a little Ride Tech billet fuel cap there. The interior is part TMI and part custom work. The door panels, which unfortunately the front ones never got put on. They're brand new, still sitting, I don't know, maybe up there in a box right now. It's, I think, a Billet Specialties steering wheel. It's got the half carbon fiber wrap on it. Dakota digital dash, vintage air vents. You'll notice I deleted one of the knobs over here. I forget if it was the wiper or something like that, but I moved everything over, and it's got the push button start. It's got the headlight switch moved over to the right, and I believe this is the wiper switch. Custom console that I made just not long ago. It's The dash has been opened up to accept the dual DIN touchscreen head unit there. I think it's a Panasonic, I'm not sure. TMI seats, front and rear. I thought they looked really cool, and they kind of retain the original SS Nova vibe, but they're obviously more of a sculpted racing style seat. No headrests. I do have the 5-point harnesses there, but the back bar here for the roll bar is currently not in the car, so I never finished the shoulder harnesses, but there is a brace that goes across that if you want to try to salvage this roll cage and finish it up. I started to unbolt the cage, and that's why it's sticking up like that. But if I'm being totally honest with you, when I unbolted it, there was a little tension and it kind of popped up, which tells me that the impact pushed the floor down a little bit. So, you know, I'm being totally honest with you. I don't know if there's frame damage to this car. There may very well be. I would highly recommend, if you're going to try to salvage this car and fix it, that you get it on a proper frame alignment rack and have a good body guy take a close look and make some calculated measurements underneath the car. But I mean, in terms of the parts, other than the body, and even the deck lid is in good shape. The deck lid really didn't get, I don't think, structural damage. It just got scraped up because the roof literally peeled back and was laying on here. So, I mean, if it was me, if I was going to try to salvage it, I'd get it on a frame rack. I'd take this car back down to bare metal, because there's too many cracks at this point now, and the paint, there's so much paint material on here. I had to paint it 3 times. So I would take it down to bare metal, get the metal work on there, get it on a frame rack, and maybe it's fixable, you know? You look at this car, most guys would look at this and go, oh man, that's nothing. Throw a roof on it and call it a day. Well, you know what? If you're that guy, this is the project for you. Because a lot of the work has been done in terms of the mechanical and the fabrication stuff. It's all there. Just do the body work or swap out the body entirely and you get yourself a new car. I did custom vents in the hood to alleviate some of the underhood heat. I thought they also looked pretty awesome and stylish. Those are welded in, and those were made by Frank Villa, was his name, guy in California. What else? This engine here, if I was to take a guess right now, the way it's tuned and the way it was running when I demolished it, it's easily making, God, it's got to be making 900 horsepower at least. Again, this is a guess, but what I can tell you is before I turned up the boost, it was making about 5 pounds of boost. You could feel that it was bleeding off pressure. It was just like barely breathing. And with my little draggy device there, it was clicking off high to mid 11s at 120 miles an hour. I think the best one I did was like an 1166 at 121 or something like that. And that's on a soft launch on the street, just easing on the throttle, 5 pounds of boost. Well, now it's making like 15 pounds of boost. And all I can tell you is the 1 to 2 seconds that I got to experience it, it was fucking insane. Okay? I don't know any other way to put it other than it was fucking insane. Okay? So it's making gobs of power. I forgot to mention, I've got the Ring Brothers billet hinges on there. Those themselves are like $1,000. That's a showpiece right there. Those things are really nice. They not only look great, but they function well. Gosh, what am I missing out here? Whew. Okay, well, anyway, there you go. Take a look. I will put a full parts list in the description of this thing. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put this on a public auction or if I'm just going to accept offers. But I figured I'd make the video talking about the car. What can I say? I did the very best I could at the time. I did 90% of the work myself. Built this car in my garage at home, painted it. A lot of setbacks, a lot of heartache, but I got it almost to the finish line, and then I screwed the entire thing up. But it's a really, really good start for somebody who wants a really badass street machine. It's all here. Just needs either a really, really serious body man or a complete body swap, and you've got all the mechanical stuff. One final thing I will say, to get it perfect, the 4L80E Trans has straight cut gears, and that first gear in particular is noisy. It whines when you're taking off from a stoplight. It's like a, and then it shifts and then it kind of goes away. I asked Jakes about it. They said, yep, that's normal for straight cut gear transmissions. And I said, okay. The rear end also has a little bit of a howl. When I'm going down freeway speeds and I forget if it's when I apply the throttle or let off the throttle, but I think it's when I started to apply the throttle, there's a little bit of a whine. So I was gonna take this thing back in and have them double check the lash on the back end setup. I just never made it that far, unfortunately. I don't have the keys with me, but I have plenty of video and photos that I can show you of the trunk. But basically, there's a rear mounted battery. There's a complete electrical hub in this corner. There's a custom mounted water intercooler tank here that feeds that pump. There is the boost control setup, which is the onboard compressor and tank, which, you know, if you want to take it to the extreme, that thing will override your wastegates and allow it to boost up, which is exactly what happened to me. And it made a shit ton of power and not a lot of traction. Yeah, that rear package tray was a pretty nice piece that I made with speakers. There's a pair of dual 8-inch subwoofers and amps behind the back seat. 3-inch exhaust. All new trim except for what's been damaged. Pretty much an all brand new interior from TMI and custom carpet from Fraga Upholstery, custom dash that I made and molded around the roll cage, and then I had it upholstered by Fraga. What else? Yeah, it's got a really great audio system. It's got an engine making 1,000 horsepower if you want it. It's got a bulletproof drivetrain built to handle it. You might just want to consider, you know, swapping out the tires with a little bit more sidewall. If you're going to go drag racing, you probably want a smaller diameter wheel with more rubber. But it's got up to, it'll fit a 315 tire. So, yeah, if you want to make it a drag car, it's there. If you want to make it a pro touring car, it's there. Probably just swap out the Mickey Thompsons for a different compound. Stiffer sidewall. The wiper motors do work. I just don't have them on there. And as I recall, there might still be a little clearance issue with the Vintage Air with that. The arms were still, I think, rubbing in one place, but not a huge deal. Yeah, okay, there it is. If you are interested, you can send me a message. It is registered as a replica here in Nevada. It has a, well, I'll show you the VIN. What have I got to hide at this point? Again, the door is sagging right now, but there's the VIN. If you can see that. And it was registered here as a replica car because it was never a factory body. So if that's a big turnoff for you, okay, no big deal. But, you know, you can register this car, you can drive it. It was registered as a 2022 replica 67 Nova. So that's the only thing, if I'm being totally honest with you. Currently, it has a salvage title because when I totaled the car through Haggerty, I had to go down and turn in the title for a salvage title. So I have that. But basically, there you go. It is a functional rolling chassis in need of serious body replacement or work, and you've got yourself a monster street machine.